Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday afternoon. This is Dory O'Neill, and I'm here talking to you today about being stuck and becoming unstoppable. So, I wanted to, this is my first time going live and talking about this, I wanted to talk a little bit about what it means to be stuck. And I came up with 10 questions that I had to ask myself at one point to figure out if I was stuck, because there was a time in my life when, probably about 5 years ago, when I was sober. I had gotten sober. Was in a wonderful marriage, lovely home, great stepchildren, and I was still miserable and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I realized I was stuck. And I reached out and got a really great coach and really started going toward becoming what I like to think of as unstoppable. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what those two things mean. But first, let's talk about what being stuck is. I looked up some synonyms for what stuck is, and cemented, glued, frozen, and mired. And I really like that mired, because when I think of being stuck, I think of being stuck in the mud, sort of that when you're walking through and you're just kind of like your shoe almost gets stuck because you're just so far down in it and you can't get out. It's just that feeling of trying to get out. That's what I think of when I think about being stuck. Now, it may not be that severe for you, but there's different degrees of having that feeling of being cemented and glued into a situation, whether it's a relationship, a job, or any kind of different situation that you could become where you're just like, I'm not happy anymore. So here are the things to ask yourself if you want to figure out if you're stuck. The first one is, are things in your life that are the things that you keep doing over and over again that you wish you could change? There's certain things that I had to figure out in my life that I'm like, okay, well, I keep doing the same thing and expecting different results, which we call what the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Am I doing that? Are there things you want to change about yourself physically that you're not motivated to do? You want to lose some weight, or maybe it's even getting a haircut. Sometimes we get so stuck in ourselves and in the same thing that we forget some of the things that bring us joy, and that may even be getting a haircut, getting a nice hair color, buying a new outfit, something like that. The smallest of things, but something physically that's going on that you're not taking care of or addressing. Do you keep putting other people's needs before your own? And I know that for a lot of people, that's a hard one, because we've been taught that we're supposed to put other people's needs in front of ours, and that it's selfish if you're not thinking of other people. And I agree, you should definitely think of other people, and you should treat people as the way that you would want to be treated. But it's very important to also take care of your own needs. Do you feel like every day is Groundhog Day? Do you feel like every day you're doing the same thing over and over again? There's no excitement, or maybe it's drama every day. But it's the same thing day in and day out. You could be stuck. Do you feel like you're just going through the motions? Now, for me, this is a big one. What is it like when there's no excitement, no joy in your life, and you're just going through the motions? You're taking care of everybody around you, and you just feel like it's just like I'm acting as if, but I'm not really feeling anything. You're just going through the motions. Is that you? Do you feel like you just want to go to bed and you want the day to just hurry up and pass? Now, I know that once I realized I had a problem when I was drinking was when I realized that I was drinking to get the next day to come. So I was looking forward to the sort of oblivion where the next day would just hurry and get here. Though the next day was Groundhog Day, and guess what? It's the same repetitive thing. But is that happening to you? Are you just wishing you could go to bed, put the covers over your head, and that the next day would just come? Here's another one. Do you feel like you have it all? And I just mentioned that before. I have a beautiful home. I have the family I've always wanted. I have even a great dog. And I have a really good job. But I still wasn't happy. I was in a rut. I was stuck. So I would have definitely have said yes to that question. Is there no clarity around what you're supposed to be doing? Do you feel like you should be doing something, but you don't know exactly what that is? Or do you have hobbies or you want hobbies, some sort of life outside of your job and family, but you have no idea what that is or how to find it? I know a lot of women that this happens to. You've been so busy taking care of everyone else and raising a wonderful family that when it comes time to start thinking of yourself, you have no idea what it is that you want to do. You have no idea what it's supposed to be like to be something labeled besides friend, family, mother, wife, coworker, and you don't know what that is. Who are you supposed to be, and what is it you're supposed to be doing? What kind of hobbies? And then finally, do you feel like it's too late? Now, I know for myself, I could get into a lot of the could've, should've, would've, and think about, oh, it's too late to do that now. I'm approaching 50. Next year I'll be 50 years old. And I could look at my life and go, well, my life is half over and it's too late to make changes. It's too late to become someone that gets on a podcast or someone that is writing a book or someone that's doing all these different things that I'm doing. It's too late to do that. It's too late to start coaching people. It's too late to do all these things where you're just kidding yourself. I could say that to myself. But I could look at it the other way and go, I still have another half of my life that I want to live. It's never too late. So if you looked at those 10 questions and you said, oh my gosh, I've answered yes to some of those things, then maybe it's time to look and say, are you stuck? Or maybe you already know that you're stuck and you're just kind of like, I don't know what else I'm going to do about that. Well, if you have answered yes to any of those or you had any of those feelings, then you're going to be in the right spot here on Sundays, because this is exactly what I'm going to be talking about. Some tips on how to get unstuck and become unstoppable. Now, I'll probably put you in a sort of a down position right now, and a feeling of, okay, great, here I am, I'm stuck. Thanks, Dory, for bringing this up, and now you're just going to leave me hanging. And I'm not going to do that, because that is one thing I definitely believe in, is you should always end everything on a higher note than the way that you came in. For example, I have a girlfriend that we just sync, we click. And I can tell her about everything that's going on in my life, and I can talk to her, and we can talk about husbands, and we can talk about all these things, and we can complain and just kind of like get it out. But one of the things that we always end up doing on the end of it is we always say something positive. And whether it's about whatever the situation was we were talking about. If we're talking about our spouse, then we end it on, you know what, this is the reason why I fell in love with him, was because of X, Y, and Z. And so that's what we do, is we end it on those notes. And so that's what I'm going to do with you here today, is I'm going to end it on a note. And the way I'm going to end it is this. I'm going to tell you what the synonyms for unstoppable are, and then I'm going to give you a tip on thinking about being unstoppable. Unstoppable, I love these words. When I think about unstoppable, it just makes me feel like so energetic and so invincible. Like I can do anything, which is probably a synonym for unstoppable. But unstoppable, relentless. I'm going to go at this. I'm going to keep going. The chips may come down and I may fall on my face a couple of times, but you know what? I'm going to pull myself up. I'm going to dust myself off. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to be relentless at it. I'm going to be persistent. I'm going to keep showing up, and I'm going to be consistent, and I'm going to stay on top of it. But I'm going to keep coming, and I'm going to keep coming, and I'm going to be persistent at it. I'm going to be tenacious. I'm going to keep there's going to be a passion about it, and I'm going to be tenacious about it, and just keep going. And I'm going to be unbeatable. Unbeatable. You cannot beat me down. You cannot tell me this is not going to happen, because I'm just going to keep going, and I'm going to keep going. That's unstoppable. So how do you move from stuck, cemented, glued, frozen, and mired to relentless, persistent, tenacious, unbeatable, unstoppable? But the first part is you have to admit you're stuck. And again, if you looked at those questions, or maybe you didn't, and then you go, you know what, I'm stuck. So I ask you today, have you decided, are you stuck? Maybe you don't know, and maybe you're not stuck in, and if you aren't and you're part of the Unstoppable Club, awesome. Glad you're here, and keep coming back. But what I want you to do is I want you today to think about the word unstoppable. I want you to take a mental image. What does that mean? For those that are creative, get a piece of paper, draw it out. Draw the word unstoppable. Draw a picture of what you think unstoppable is. Write the word, write the picture, and think about it. Unstoppable. What is unstoppable? What does that mean to me? And the reason why we're doing this is because we're changing the mindset. So we went from an energy level of I'm stuck to unstoppable. What does that mean to me? And maybe you don't feel that you're unstoppable today, but you're planting the seeds for what unstoppable could be tomorrow. So today, think about it. Cut a picture out of a magazine for those that have magazines. If you have Canva, get on and do a creative collage of what unstoppable means. But think about what unstoppable means for you today. Think about what it means for you this week. And know what ways could you be unstoppable? It doesn't have to be anything dramatic. Now, I've jumped out of a plane. That was what my event poster was about. It was me jumping out of a plane. And the moment I jumped out of a plane, I knew when I went skydiving, I could do anything. Absolutely anything. Without fear. But it doesn't have to be like that. Maybe it's as simple as, you know what, I'm going to practice my nutrition this week, and I'm going to be unstoppable at it. If my family's eating a donut, you know what, that's on them. They can do what they want to do, but I'm going to be unstoppable at that. Baby steps, anything. Just think about it. That's all I'm asking for this week. Just think about what does that mean to you. And I'd love to see your comments. If you're not watching this live and you want to just do a hashtag replay, put down, what do you think about unstoppable? What does that mean to you? And I would love just to be able to see what your thoughts are on this. So next week, I'm going to dig a little deeper into how to go from stuck to unstoppable. And if you're curious about my coaching and want to know more about it and how you can work with me one-on-one on going from stuck to unstoppable and from blah to badass, then please just feel free to reach out to me. My website is www.therealdorio.com, but you can always direct message me. I appreciate your time today. I know that Sundays are a day for hopefully relaxation, but hopefully being able to contemplate on being unstoppable. Thank you so much. Take care and have a wonderful week.